pressure. She's sacked him. A great bull rush by Chris Jones.
He's not banking on the skill that he's been blessed with.
It's a Kelce. Great catch. Touchdown. Kansas City, the 10. Still not down. Oh, what a run. Out of this world. Sinks it on the middle. Intercepted. Intercepted by Mathieu. The Honey Badger doesn't care.
Victory edition of Chiefs Rewind. Mitch Holthus with you along with Shawn Barber. Chiefs beat Denver for a 10th straight time. Let's go right to the podium and hear from head coach Andy Reid.
You made that switch, and Brad, I'll have a quick follow-up as well.
Yeah, so listen, I mean, he was a good player in college with the return game. He was good in preseason when we did it. He's healthy. And so we wanted to give him an opportunity back there to return. You see how he hits it. That becomes important on kickoff return. So but I thought he did a nice job with it. And I mean, he hit it. He hit it hard and fast and everything else. So.
Yeah. Okay. And the other thing is, obviously, you got Le'Veon Bell involved a little bit, had a couple nice runs for you. What were your thoughts on how he played for you today?
Yeah, so it was great. You know, it was twofold because we had both those guys playing, but it was great to get Le'Veon in and get him going. And I thought he was very productive. There are a couple things he'll learn from just with the offense. But I think the run game part of it was excellent. He had good positive yardage and ran hard. It was great for 25 too. Clyde coming off 6 days rest. I mean, that's a new thing for a rookie. How are you going to handle that? And I love the way he did. He came out and he ran hard and had, again, great production there.
Let's go next to Mick Schaefer. Go ahead, Mick.
Hey, Coach, along the lines of all three units scoring for you, are those plays on a day like this needed, or did the offense maybe play more conservatively once those scores gave you that kind of big lead?
Yeah, you want it. We try to score every time we have that ball, man, offensively. It wasn't going that way. Vic did a nice job on third downs. He blitzed us a little bit and got us. We fixed it the second half. We just didn't get the same blitz, and we weren't in that situation. Listen, as many points as you can get on the board in the NFL, that's a good thing. I mean, these teams are too stinking good, and I'll take them from anywhere. And if you're giving me some points, I'll take them. You need them in this thing. Teams are way too explosive.
Let's go next to Vahe. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Andy. Obviously, you will take the points anywhere you can get them, but does it have any particular meaning to you to see guys, two undrafted free agents, have those big touchdowns today on a team of, guys who have a little higher profiles than those two? Yeah.
Listen, two of my favorite guys, man. They play. They come show up every day. Non-scholarship. It was like San Francisco State, non-scholarship program. So they came in not on scholarship, and they ended up earning it, and rightly so. They did a great job.
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Andy, my question is somewhat of a follow-up to Vahe's, but considering that Patrick, arguably and reasonably so, gets much of the attention on the team, what does it say that he can look out and see that his teammates can perform at such a high level to where he doesn't have to be a superstar every game?
Yeah, Nate, I deal with him every day, and all he wants to do is win. I mean, it's crazy for being just what you're saying. I mean, you know how he is, how he's wired, but I mean, that's what's real every day. Now, he wants to, rip your heart out when he's out there playing. I mean, he wants to do well and do all that, but when other people, when other people are scoring, he's jumping up and down likewise. So it doesn't, he just wants to win, and that's the beauty of him. Yeah.
Got time for a few more. We'll go right down the line. Sam, Pete, and then Sam. Go ahead, Sam McDowell.
Hey, Andy. A couple of weeks ago against the Raiders, your defense took some heat for the way they played in that game. Back-to-back games now, just 16 points each, 4 turnovers today. Could you sense something coming off of that Raiders game, whether it be in practice that next week or a meeting or something, that these guys were going to bounce back in the way that they have?
Yeah, I don't think none of us coached very well, and none of us played very well in that game. And so I thought it was, I could definitely sense it on the defensive side where they want to down and do better. Been great focus there. Spags has done a nice job, as the other coaches have, and you got a lot of proud players there, so they really bear down and had a couple nice games here.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Congrats on the win, Coach. Weird to ask this question in such a dominating game, but it seemed like there was a little bit of lull for the offense in the middle of the game. How important was it to get things going, get that touchdown with Tyreek toward the end before you switched out for Chad Henne?
Yeah, so we had a couple of them right there, and that was good to get those. And then we were able to get down there and drive. We need to do better in the red zone is what we need to do. We drove down the length of the field and didn't do very well once we were there. So, but points in this game were important. I thought it was good to get a couple touchdowns in there, mixed in there. But listen, I'm just glad. Listen, the way too competitive in this league. So I'm not resting on all that. We'll get better. We'll get better. We'll correct the mistakes and get better. And it starts with me, and so we roll and get things corrected up.
We'll go to Sam Mellinger with the last one. Go ahead, Sam.
Andy, I realize you guys won the Super Bowl last year, right? And I might be setting myself up here because I don't think this is necessarily the way you think. But it seems like this group has so many different ways to win a game. I'm just curious if you think this has the potential to be the most complete team that you've had here.
Yeah, I think time tells on those things. Every week's such a challenge in this league. There's so much parity in the league. And, I've heard people say, when they're watching the college game, they go, well, we got one good game here, one good game there. You turn on the NFL and every game's a good game. It's just how it rolls because of the parity within the league. So you have to be on every week. And that's the challenge. That's a challenge. The expectations are high amongst our players, amongst the coaches. And how do you sustain that? How do you keep that rolling? And so it's character, and it tests you there, and you got to bear down every week to do that.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Andy Reid addressing the media in Denver. The Chiefs get a win over the Broncos 43-16. When you would think the Chiefs, who did not convert a third down in this game, 0 for 7 or 0 for 8, and then went without a first down from late in the second quarter to late in the third, you would say, man, the Broncos got an upset. It's a blowout. I want to ask you about two plays. Byron Pringle first. Coach Reid talked about him. The 102-yard kickoff return. He was dominant at K-State as a kick returner. He single-handedly beat Oklahoma State one day on plays like that. Let's take that play first and foremost, because that took a 17-6 game and made it or 17-9 game and made it 24-9.
Byron Pringle's been a guy who's been looking for an opportunity. And you thought with Sammy Watkins getting a little nicked up that maybe that third receiver spot was going to be something he kind of jumps into. But now he's taking advantage of every opportunity. And so even on the special teams, whether it's covering kicks, covering punts, now returning punts and returning kicks, he showed he has that top-end speed. He has that desire to be a difference maker, a playmaker. And it was just air and opportunity. Opportunity arose, and now he took it to the next level. Great job, that young man being focused, ready to reach a great achievement and a great opportunity at a great time in this ball game.
The other big play was the 50-yard pick six by Dirty Dan Sorensen. We're going to talk with Dirty Dan later in the show. But now let's head back to Denver and go to the podium as the Chiefs win it 43-16. Oh, we have Dan now. Okay, we've got Dirty Dan. So there we go. Said he would be later in the show. He's here right now. So welcome to the show, Dirty Dan Sorensen and his bag of tricks. Another pick six, the third of his career. Walk us through that play, young man. It was a good day's work for you.
Thank you. They lined up an empty, got a good read on the quarterback, and got a good break. And I don't know if he threw the ball behind, but was able to make a play, and just happy that I could score and get our team going.
Dirty Dan, I can answer that question. No, he did not throw the ball behind. That was an awesome break. That was great anticipation. You did exactly what you're supposed to do. Being a guy who's played in Coach Spagg's defense before, I know how almost obsessed he is with preparation. And when a team goes empty, we take advantage. We take it as an opportunity for the defense to make a big play. Can we talk about how throughout this ball game, it seemed like every time the Denver Broncos thought they was going to get a little bit momentum, either defensively we came up with a big stop or special teams-wise we came up with a big stop. Can we talk about all three phases playing together, offensively, defensively, and special teams?
I think that's the ideal way you want a defense to play, is aggressive and force a quarterback to make tight throws. And you see tip balls, guys being in the right spot, tight coverage allows them to make a play on the ball. You got T5 coming up with the tip. Turk comes in and punches the ball out because he's hustling to the ball, getting guys to the ball. And, something that I've heard is numbers favor us. When we get guys to the ball, guys rallying, pursuing, that's what a good defense does. You're able to create turnovers and they start coming your way. And when you can do that, shorten the field for the offense, set them up to, score like they do. And then obviously, special teams is a big part of it too. We had a muff that we had a chance to come up with it. The big kickoff return from Pringle. That's the ideal way that we want to play Chiefs football, where we're clicking on all cylinders, we're being aggressive, and we're creating turnovers, and we're getting all three of our phases going. We're a tough team to beat.
You've had 3 pick sixes now in your career against 2 Drews. You got Drew Brees in 16, and now you get Drew Lock in this.
Any other Drews that are out there?
Let's go find them, man.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you, because your other big play that stood out was your physical play on Phillip Lindsay. He did not return to the game, but your ability, you talked about playing kind of fast and furious in this defense. What about your ability to be assignment sound, but not only that, but to make impactful defensive plays and arrive with an attitude?
Yeah, we talked about it before this game, that this was a mindset game. Cold weather, it's easy to let your mind slip and to be cautious. But we talked about being aggressive and being physical, and this being a mindset game and setting the tone. And, I think when you have that attitude and you carry it to the field, it allows you to make plays like that. And when guys are flying around and being physical, it definitely sets the tone, and that's the kind of defense that you want to be. And so I think we did that really well today.
Man, the NFLPA sends this out every Friday, and this Friday's Happy Friday thought was, it's amazing what you can do and accomplish if no one cares who gets the credit. And that was by Harry S. Truman. Can we talk about how that philosophy is definitely an example of what our defense is and what the mindset and mentality of our defense is? No one cares who gets the credit.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of guys that have really selfless play in them. You see Turk, man, hustling to the ball. That's a D lineman that's 15 yards down the field making a play, man. That's selfless, right? He's sacrificing to hustle and comes up with a big play. And then, T5 is right there to pick him up when that ball pops out again. And you got guys that are trying to block for him as he's trying to return on his interception. Doing the extra stuff, the little stuff, those are the things that are selfless, like you talked about. Nobody cares who gets it. We're all in this together, and we're all moving in the same direction and hustling and sacrificing. And it's a beautiful thing when you can, put that on film and build on top of that. I think today we set a standard for ourselves as a team. And if we can keep that standard and keep that consistent week in and week out, and we're going to be a tough team to beat.
One final question, Dan. I'm going to tag off shops here, because not only is this team unselfish, it's easy to take that for granted. It also can win in a variety of ways. The running game was great against Buffalo on Monday night. Now, special teams and defense steps up to get 14 points in this game. What does it say about this team and its potential? Because you can win a game about, 24 different ways.
Absolutely. It's never going to be perfect. But yeah, if you can rely on different phases of the game to step up week in and week out, maybe it's the run game, it's special teams, it's defense making turnovers, maybe it's the offense picking up the defense. We're going to be a tough team to beat. And like I said, I think we set a standard for ourselves, as a team, and hopefully we can build on this.
Thank you, brother. Love those pick sixes from Dirty Dan. Stay safe, stay well, and take care of that family. Big day for the DBs, man. Getting the ball hacked out, forcing turnovers. Tyrann Mathieu gets another one off a deflection. Let's go right to the podium and hear from the Honey Badger.
I mean, as football players, it's always good when you have a challenge in front of you, especially one that you can see. So I think for us, it's all about us, obviously, learning from the Raiders game, then putting our head down and just going to work. I think as long as we play disciplined, sound, trustworthy football, it's not many teams that can, affect us in a negative way, So I thought the last couple of weeks, obviously, we've been taking some steps in the right direction, but we still got a long season ahead of us. So I think the sense of urgency, as far as, us playing consistent at all times, and even throughout this game, there was a lot of junk yardage that they was able to kind of, and even some touchdowns that they were able to put up that we got to do a good job of, limiting, going forward.
Let's go next to Todd Lebo. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Tyrann, a couple questions here. If you could take me through what you saw on Dan's play where he picked it off and ran it back, and then just take us through your interception and getting the ball that bounced up.
Yeah, well, if I tell you what happened with Dan play, that'll mean I wasn't doing my job because we was all in man-to-man coverage, and so. But I did kind of see Dan jumping in front of the route, and I think that's what we expect from Dan. He's a guy that studies really hard. He's a guy that's always prepared, and he's always clutch. He's always stepping up, making those big-time plays. When we really need it. What was the second part? I'm sorry.
Try to get you unmuted here. 1 second. All right, give that a shot. We may have to come back to that one, Tyrann. I think we're having some mute problems here. Let's shift to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Don't worry, I got time for you. His last question was about your interception. Tyrann, can you just walk us through that? And then Brad, I'll ask my question.
My interception, I was just in the outside leverage, coverage. And, I think anytime, a receiver, doesn't catch the ball or tips it in the air, just gives me an opportunity to make the play. But obviously, you expect the NFL receiver to come down with that catch, but, I'm glad he didn't.
And then my question, Tyrann, is obviously everybody last year knew you created the mantra of championship swagger, particularly in road games. I just wonder how much has the swagger developed or changed this year, depending on you guys in year two in this defense?
Yeah, I mean, well, this is a new season, and I think you have to, build your way to, championship talk and championship swagger. So, I think these last two games that we've been able to put together, I do feel us tapping back into that mantra, to that attitude, to that standard. So, like I said, we still got a long season ahead of us, got some big games coming up. And it's going to really prove who we are, as a defense. So I'm just looking forward to us stepping up, coming to work, each and every day, with that energy, that attitude, and just wanting to have fun, and wanting to play hard for the guy next to you.
Got time for a couple more guys. We're going to go Adam Tyshman and Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Tyrann, a couple things real quick. First of all, Nate asked you about maybe your swagger on the road. You guys have been really a better road team than the home team since you've been here. Do you have anything you can put your finger on as to why? And also, as a guy who's played against Le'Veon Bell before, what are the Chiefs getting from your perspective in a player like that?
Yeah, I think every game is important. Obviously, you have the home field advantage factor. You're playing at home. And then when you go on the road, it's all about your team. It's all about the teammates. It's all about the locker room. It's all about the energy. It's all about the attitude that we're willing to, embrace. And I think we're doing a good job of that. I think our coaches do a good job of, always, putting challenges in front of us, putting things in front of us that we can work on, that we can focus on, that can really get us better, as a unit. I actually like what I saw, out of Le'Veon today. I know he's still getting back into it. It's his first game with us, but I mean, you can tell right off the bat that this guy knows what he's doing, with the football in his hand. And, I saw him made one good run today, made a couple guys miss. And so, I mean, I'll be expecting for him to make some really, really big plays for us going forward.
Let's go ask Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Tyrann, you and some of your teammates on defense have talked sometimes of wanting to sort of, not in a bad way, but emerge from the shadow of the offense, right? To be a reason that the team wins, take pride in that. I'm just wondering, is that still a thing, or do you feel like that's been established and people know that by now?
Yeah, I think, obviously, we have a great offense, and I think anytime the opportunity presents itself for us to stand up, make a stand, make plays, give the offense opportunities to score, even when those guys may not be clicking on all the cylinders that they would like. I mean, we take great pride, and I think that starts with, obviously, Coach Spags, and I think me and him are kind of the same, we take everything so personal, and so, but I think it does the group well. I think, us obviously having that chip on our shoulder, not necessarily wanting to be the little brother, but wanting to be the reason, or wanting to be part of the reason why, the Kansas City Chiefs are a great team. And so we're still working towards that. We're still building towards that. But I think anytime you have a performance like this where you can step up as a defense, I think it just sends confidence, through the whole locker room that, each unit can trust each other. Each unit can feed off each other and grow off each other.
Tyrann, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
The victory. Tyrann Mathieu there at the podium. Chiefs get the victory, wiping out Denver 43-16, 10th straight win for the Chiefs, 6th straight in Denver. But you can just kind of hear the confidence in him for the defense to take the ball away like they did today and to be explosive in the special teams and defensive phase has to be especially pleasing to the Honey Badger.
Man, it's amazing to hear as the kingdom gets larger and we get more and more fan base supporting the kingdom. I encourage the kingdom, man, listen to Tyrann Mathieu, listen to Frank Clark, listen to Le'Veon Bell, listen to Clyde Hilaire, listen to Coach B-Enemy, Coach Spags, and Coach Reid. You hear the same, right? You hear the same mantras, the same mottos, attention to detail, the swagger, the leadership, the pride in the defense and offense and special teams, the desire to score, even from Pat Mahomes, the desire to score every opportunity. It's a challenge being put in front of this defense to keep their mindset focused on this season, not taking anything for granted. Last season was last season. They know they have to go out and make their run for another championship, and they do it each and every week, preparing for each week's opponents. So our team as a whole is definitely doing a great job, but our coaching staff is doing a terrific job of continuously challenging these guys to have them super focused, attention to detail, and almost obsessed with alignment, assignment, and execution each and every Sunday.
I don't know what it was like when Stram and Dawson and Bell and Taylor were here, but it can't be any better than this right here with what the Chiefs have rolling. We're going to hear from Patrick Mahomes here in just a second, but let's talk offense here. Mecole Hardman, he has the 13-yard end around. Then he has 2 catches for 51 yards. They got him involved in scrimmage downs in this game. When you combine CEH and Le'Veon Bell, you're going to get almost 90 yards in rushing. It doesn't look like a glitzy offensive day, but here's what I love about this team, too. They don't get a rash when they don't get a stat game. They're not chasing stats, and the quarterback is the most prominent of that. Some guys get, they break out into pimples or something if they don't get 350 yards passing. He wins the game. He loves winning the game.
You never hear our offensive weapons talk about targets. All they want is opportunities as a whole for the offense to move down the field. Whoever gets the ball, Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Zeus, when Zeus gets out there. And sometimes you see Travis, he's not even worrying about his targets. He's about his blocking. Like, did he finish off a block, or where did he finish off a play? When you have a high-level athlete like that, a guy who is league-wide known as the best receiving tight end in the league, and he comes out and says, you know what, I want to work on my blocking this game. I want to fine-tune it to the point where when Le'Veon Bell or Clyde get the ball, they can count on me to make that block to set them free. That's when this offense really gets really dangerous.
Remember, Patrick Mahomes in Denver, there's history there. His very first game as a starter in 2017. In 18, he had the left-handed pass. 19, the dislocated kneecap. In 20, another victory, because all of those games were wins, too, in Denver. Let's go to the podium with the Chiefs MVP quarterback, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I thought they did well. I thought Clyde obviously continued to put up tough runs and these long runs and being able to break tackles and do that different type of stuff. And then I thought Le'Veon did a great job coming in. Off a week of practice where you only get a couple days pretty much, and then to be able to step right in, have a few big runs, and then really get his footing. Obviously, there's still little details you have to work out here and there, but for someone to come in and have the success like that early, it's definitely exciting.
Let's go next to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Patrick, you're obviously the face of the franchise, but what does it say about this team when they don't necessarily have to rely on your arm every week and you see all three phases of the game clicking like this?
Definitely nice for me. I mean, it's nice that we'll be able to go out there and win in several different ways. And I think we kind of found our footing on that at the end of last year, and it's kind of continuing to this year. And we kind of feel the temperature of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. And obviously we want to score every drive, but if it's not there and the defense is playing like it's playing today, don't make anything worse and just punt and let the special teams work, and then let the defense go out there and make plays.
Let's go next to Mick Schaefer. Go ahead, Mick.
Yeah, along the same lines there, Patrick, everybody's wanting to talk about how do you guys combat the way that teams are playing you defensively? Is the best way to combat that running the football? And you guys have been so good the last few years on third downs. Seeing an 0 for 8 today, is that kind of sticking your craw a little bit?
Yeah, I think I just didn't have answers in certain situations. They brought a few cover zero pressures. They brought a few things that we've had success on this year especially, and I didn't have the right answer at the right time. And then we didn't execute at a high enough level as an offense to go out there and continue to move the ball. I mean, we had times where we were moving it seemed like very easily, but then we would kind of stall out. And so it's stuff that we can get better at. I mean, whenever you feel like you don't play a great game offensively and you win by 27 or whatever it was points, I mean, it's a good feeling. So a win's a win, and we'll move on to the next one and know that we have to go out and play our best football this next week.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Patrick, I've asked you this before, but can you explain just the feeling in the second quarter when the game is somewhat tight and then there's a touchdown return, there's a pick six, you don't have the ball much, like you mentioned. Just what is that feeling like on the bench, just watching your teammates thrive?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an awesome feeling. I mean, to see guys like Dan make a big-time pick and then get to the end zone, then the Pringle to get back there and to make that return. I mean, he hit that thing like he was back at K-State. It's cool. Obviously, you want to be out there playing, but it got us a big lead, and it kind of changed the tempo of the game. And I thought we started kind of offensively, go back to offensive. We started off really hot, and then we kind of had that long lull, and then we didn't kind of combat that and come back with the same energy that we needed. And so learning from this being a learning experience and knowing when you have that long break during a game like that, being able to be better on the other side of it.
Let's go next to Harold Kuntz. Go ahead, Harold.
Hey, Patrick, when it comes to you got sacked, I think 4 times today. I know what was going on with the communication there. It seemed like in one play, Bell was going out for a screen and kind of just let it slide, and the guys got to you. And you looked a little frustrated too, but how did that just affect you throughout the game?
Yeah, there was one of them, was with cover zero pressure, and they held it, disguised it very well. And that's just another, like a little detail. I mean, he got his eyes around, but I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to see it and recognize it. And so just kind of building that chemistry with him on that. It wasn't a screen or anything like that, but he was kind of the hot throw in that situation, and I didn't trust it and give him the chance to make the play. And then we had a miscue at one point at the offensive line, and then the one we didn't get the right protection, but we kind of put Kaiser in a bad situation, being one-on-one with one of their best pass rushers. And then that's on me. I'm not miking it the right way. And so there's just different things that we got to be better at. And so it's definitely a learning experience, but hopefully we can continue to get better and better each and every week.
Let's go next to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Patrick, I don't know if this is a weird thing to ask you, like right after the game, but I'm just wondering if you can think of, like, do you see an evolution in the team, your teammates other than you, from 2018 when it seemed like it was just this narrow way for you guys to win, just score a boatload of points, right? And now you have all these different ways. I'm just curious if you see an evolution of just the way that you guys can win ball games now.
100%. I mean, as far as our team, I mean, guys really just continue to work and continue to battle. I mean, we obviously didn't play offensively the way we wanted to, but guys continue to work, continue to press on until we got a touchdown there at the end. And so it's something that I've learned in my career so far. I mean, obviously, I was talking to Tyrann about it after the game, actually, right before he came out here. And I was like, young Patrick would have probably tried to force it and thrown the ball, and maybe made a bad interception or something like that. Whereas now, seeing the way the defense is playing and knowing that it's not there, just kind of either taking the sack or not completing the pass and throwing it away where it's not going to be interceptable. And so you have to learn ways to win in this league. It's not always going to be 400 passing yards or 200 rushing yards or whatever it is. It's going to be finding ways to win, and I think this team's doing a great job of doing that.
We'll go to Matt Derrick with the last one. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Patrick, it looked like one of the bigger celebrations of the day was there at the end when Chad got into the end zone. And that was his first rushing touchdown in 8 years. So how big was it? I mean, how much does that just do for the offense's morale and the camaraderie when you get it in a moment like that?
Yeah, I mean, this is a brotherhood. I mean, from the first guy on this roster all the way down to the last guy on this roster, we really support each other, and we're going to go out there and show that same support no matter what the situation is, no matter who's in the game. And so I think that's why you have such a great chemistry in this locker room, and why people can come in and they just know that we're all competing to be the best and to help each other out be the best. And so to see a guy like Chad, I mean, he puts in the work every single day. He's there at least as much as I am, and he's putting in the time for being prepared for moments like these. And for him to be able to make a big play in the fourth quarter of that game, I mean, it was a sweet moment, and that's something that I'm sure he'll appreciate.
Patrick, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
How awesome was Patrick Mahomes at the podium? He said young Patrick Mahomes would have made a mistake. He's old Patrick Mahomes now, but it just shows you how he's grown since he entered the league and how he handles these games. Impressive.
I mean, we talk about wisdom and knowledge and there being a difference, right? He's collected so much knowledge from Alex Smith, from Coach Reid, from Matt Kafka, and all the different coordinators he has. But now he shows that wisdom on the field. It's how you apply that knowledge, and he's doing that at such a high level. It's almost scary that he continues to tell us each week, I can play a lot better. I can do a lot better at leading this team. We didn't do a lot of things we didn't do right as far as picking up the coverages and some of the zero blitz things. I got to be able to put us in better positions, take advantage of it. And we're talking about a 27-point victory against a good Denver team, a good Denver team that held the Denver defense has been phenomenal all year long, one of the best as far as in the red zone and points given up, and 43 points.
We'll close this way. There was an incredible song called We Are Young by Fun. Is because in that was Janelle Monáe, one of my favorite actresses and singer. Because she's from Kansas City, Kansas. Janelle Monáe, watch her in Hidden Figures. Because that was 2012 when that phenomenal song, We Are Young, was sung by Fun. That was the last time Chad Henne had a rushing touchdown. I think the RPO was created just for Chad Henne.
And 8 years ago and didn't have a chance. A chance in Denver, mile high to score a touchdown. You saw the excitement on his face, but did you see the offensive line, how fast they were to get to him and celebrate with him? Like Pat said, this is a brotherhood. Andy Reid says this. If you haven't been to our stadium and take a tour, you wouldn't know this, but in our locker room, you come into the locker room as a teammate, but then you leave as a family. And that is something each one of our players are taking to heart. And that's why this team is going to be so hard to beat no matter where, when, how, at any point of the season. They're going to keep growing together as a family, and somebody's going to have to try to knock them off. That's the running back tour.
That touchdown was not only for Chad Henne, it was for Janelle Monáe, it was for Fun, it was for We Are Young. And the Chiefs get the victory. I know Salute to Service is coming up, but I'm going to end this way, the way I started the play-by-play. The 10th Mountain Division trains to play in Arctic and mountainous conditions. The Kansas City Chiefs get a 10th straight win playing like the 10th Mountain Division in blowing out Denver. He's Shawn Barber, a.k.a. The Shop, a.k.a. Barbershop. I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs. Your Chiefs are now 6-1 and get ready to entertain the Jets next week. Thanks for joining us in this edition, a victory edition of Chiefs Rewind.
Chiefs Rewind is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Kansas City Chiefs, and by Community America Credit Union, the official banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.